Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, December 20th, 2021, and I'm here for my weekly cross-stitching update. I have a lot to share today of all sorts of different things, so we better get started and jump right in. I thought first, since it's 5 days till Christmas, I'll share some of the cards and gifts that I've received so far from the Flosstube community. So we have a card from Charlene Morgan, the Witchy Stitchers, and Carlene, so cute. Desiree, the Addicted Stitcher, in Dutch down here. I don't know what it says. Can you tell me what it says? I can Google it, I guess. This is from Charlotte, I think. Yeah. And she had seen these cards with all the names of Jesus here from Isaiah 9:6. And thought of me and Desiree with our His Name is Jesus piece, which I'll show later today. So Desiree got one of these too. And it's from Dawn, Frosty X Stitch. Some of these have sparkles on them, which is fun. This is from Charmin. Please don't squeeze my stitchin' here on Flosstube. And she also gave me a sweet little ornament. It says Jolly on one side and where is it? Down there, 2021 on the other side. So fun. I've never had one of these before, so that's exciting. I had to take it off the tree to bring it down here. And then I also got from Cookie this pretty card and another ornament of this sweet snowman. Isn't he adorable? It's got a band of stitching right here with some Krynic and beads as well to make it sparkly, and there's some charms here and here and a charm on the back. Made with love, it says. Oh, and up here, 2021 charm. And the piping even has sparkles, so lots of sparkles, which I love at Christmas time. So thank you. This definitely makes things festive around here. I also got some Happy Mail from Fabrics by Stephanie. I ordered some fabric for Rose by Heaven Earth Designs. It finally came in. I decided not to start it this year, but I think it will work. It's a little bit different than what the original background is. This is Rose full size, but I'm gonna do a different fabric instead of the background. So I was looking for something splotchy that has some light bits and dark bits. And Banshee from Fabrics by Stephanie looked pretty good. It's a little bluer than I expected, but I was kind of hoping for more green, but I think it'll work. So here is this fabric. It's got darker bits on the bottom and lighter bits on the top. And I will most likely have it this orientation because the picture does have the lighter bits on the top and the darker bits on the bottom. And this is toner save mode as well that I printed this out. So it is a little bit darker in general. And this side I think is a little harsher. So I was thinking of going with this side, just a little bit softer, I think is the right way. Anyways, whichever side is softer, I was thinking of going with that to be a little bit more like the original background. And this is 32 count Lugana. It's going to stitch it 1/1. Looks like it might have plumped up a little bit, but I think I can do it as far as stitching 1/1 on 32 count. It'll be tight, but I think I can do it. So this is, I was thinking maybe I would start this after Christmas, that last week of the year before New Year's. But because of what transpired this week, I have a different new start. I think I'll focus on that one instead. This one, I don't know when it will get started, but it is ready now to start. I also need to play in Pattern Keeper to take the background out, so that's not done yet. Okay. I also received some bits and bobs from the Fat Quarter Shop, which it's been a little while. Some stuff I probably won't be keeping, but I will wait and do a giveaway until after Christmas because I don't want to deal with it right now. So these are cute Busy Bee sticky notes. They come in 3 colors. They're probably like 2 inches high and like 1¼ inch wide. So small, but just right for something. And I'm sure I'll use these quite a bit actually. A little needle minder that looks like an apron. It goes with their vintage housewife. It's like way up. Yeah, there we go. Vintage housewife pattern. They might have a quilt with this, I'm not sure. But they sent the pattern along this time. And that's what that looks like. So there's the apron in the middle, and the strings, the apron strings here are sticking out, and in the needle minder they're like tucked up. So that's kind of fun. Possibly some small, like you could do smalls of these even if you didn't want the whole thing. I haven't decided yet if I may or may not want that, but again, I'm not doing anything right now. Flea market baskets, which they had flea market flowers last year, which I am still in the middle of. This is flea market baskets. It has a similar flavor, but baskets instead of flowers. This one's cute. Farm life with a cow, a pig, and a sheep. And their cute little backsides. And there are some stitch cards with transportation motifs. That'd be really cute for a little boy's room or something. And Autumn Spice, which came in the Stitch Quarterly. So I already have this. This will definitely be a giveaway in the future. And then 2 quilts, Alpine Blooms and Zurich. I might have given this one away before. I'm not sure. Anyways. Oh, and then a project bag. Denim Daisy project bag. And this is a square. So it's quite large. Trying to think. So here's a full size sheet, a regular size sheet of paper. You can see how big it is compared to that. This is 11 inches, so I fit a 12 by 12 goose snap in here, if that's the sort of thing you do. So that's fun. Let's see. Okay, and then one more thing I wanted to give, 2 more things actually. I wanted to give a shout out to the Absent-Minded Stitchers. They are a new channel, but not new Flosstubers. It's Terry Lee Crafts and Joe. I was gonna look you up. You might have already had a channel, Joe's Country Junction, maybe? She is the admin for Cross Stitch Finish Line. I believe Terry is now co-admin as well. So they started a channel together called the Absent-Minded Stitchers, and it was really great. I watched their first episode, and they get along really well, and they play off of each other, show all of their projects that they normally would in their separate videos, but now they're together. So I think it's really nice. So I thought I would share that. And I also have a couple new patterns in my Etsy shop that one of them was ready last week, but I didn't remember to bring it. And that's called This Is My Happy Place. And it's charted just with the typography. This is a design by Rachel Austin. She has an Etsy shop called DD. Oh, I was gonna write it down. DD by Artsy Walls or something like that. I'll write it on the screen. She has, her Etsy shop sells digital files for your like Cricut and Silhouette machines, die cut machines. So this is one of her designs, and one of my customers really liked this but wanted to stitch it. So I contacted her and asked if I could chart it into a cross stitch pattern, and she said yes. So this is now available in my shop as a cross stitch pattern. In the description of my listing is a link to her like die cut file as well, if that's something that you're interested in. This is 196 by 136, so it could be a nice big statement pillow. And I thought that was cute. And then another one I just put up last night is a new temperature piece, and it's kind of impromptu, but a customer requested this because she had the idea. She walks her dog every day, and the temperature changes. She always checks the temperature to see what it's going to be when she goes out, and thought it would be fun to have something paw print related to track the temperatures throughout the year when she walks her dog. So we have titled this Temperature Walk With Me, and she had the idea but couldn't quite make it a reality, so I kind of took the idea and ran with it, and this is what I came up with. We have some streets, a main street, and then some sidewalk covered streets in the residential area, and you would start here and go clockwise throughout the entire thing and end up here with the little puppy dog. Each pad on the paw print is a different day, so there's 5 days represented in each print for a total of 365. And my husband had the idea to put some little icons in here as well, dog related things they like to do while on walks. There's a tree, a squirrel, a fire hydrant, and a bone. So I thought that was fun, and this is now also available in my Etsy shop as a PDF or a print copy. So you can head on over and enjoy that. That's in addition to all the other temperature pieces I have in there, which are going to be, you know, getting started here pretty soon. There's a lot of people who've already started some of the base features of their project, like the tree trunk or the butterfly outlines. I should probably start my butterfly outlines too, but I'll probably save that for next week. Oh yeah, I think I brought, yeah, I did. Okay. Something else. I was like, oh, I hope I brought that. Okay, let's show what I worked on this week, and that will kind of segue into what I am planning and what I got prepared to do in the near future. So starting out, I guess we should do our travel stitching, which is my temperature piece that I'm working on right now, which is the temperature typography, one of the ones in my Etsy shop. I'm down here in December, and because of the way the dates fell, I was only able to finish 1 letter this time, not 2. And I got a tiny start on M, but I didn't want to keep going because I didn't know the last color yet yesterday. I could do it now, but I usually work on this on Sundays. So I didn't want to start the second color and then have it be there in the 4th color, and I don't want to cut my string if I don't have to. I'd rather just carry it a few stitches. So I just did 1 letter this time, but it gave me more time to work on my Advent animals, so that's okay. This is where I'm at too right now. 28 count, 1/1, full crosses on a mystery pale blue even weave, and lots more purples. I'm really not sure. There's another one in here, and I was working on it in the dark. There's 2 different purples in here. I don't even know if you can tell. So they might be too close in daylight. They look different on the card next to each other, but anyways, lots of purples. It was cool, very, very cold for here last week, and even this morning it was down like 33, I think, when I left at 8 to go take my son to practice. So we have frost in the morning, so it is getting below freezing at night, but it usually warms up into the 60s during the day, and if the sun's out. If the sun's not out, which it ends up in the 50s, which is what all those purple days were. We had a lot of cloudy, rainy days last week, so. And I believe my next one, yeah, with Advent Animals by Brooks Books. They are a free patterns. You can still find them on her blog or her website. That's the word I'm looking for. This is Katie Kitty #1, and I finished Peter Polar Bear last time, and then this time I finished Mary Mouse. She's so cute. She's a little ballerina mouse with a crown and ballet shoes and a tutu. She's got her candy cane wand. She turned out really cute. These are on 18 count Ada in light blue by Zweigart. With 2 strands for all the cross stitching. And I love the coverage. It's very nice. And then I am also working on Remy Rabbit, which is will look like this. It's a toner save mode, so it'll be brighter, but that's, you get the idea. And then this is where I got to so far this week. And this is, I finished the red and the dark green and that light green and some like one of the darker pinks. So I'm thinking I might wait until the end to do the white, because the white has some back stitching as well. Sometimes I like to try to wait, like I did this color, it was also back stitching around here. I waited and did the dark green first, you know, so once I had the color out, I could do the back stitching at the same time. Ideally, although there's some dark green back stitching at the top of the stocking I didn't notice, which I'll have to do later, even after the white, because it's next to the bunny, but what you gonna do? So the numbers are done. So this would be ideal to at least finish this one before the end of the year. I don't know how much travel stitching I'll have because everybody's home. I'm not doing ballet line pickups anymore for the next 3 weeks. But there's probably going to be a little bit of time here and there. So I will take advantage when I can. And maybe at the end of the year, I'll just finish it, you know, during my normal stitching time, if it's not quite done yet. Let's see. I only worked a little bit on my Mill Hill on Monday, and I kept thinking maybe I'd come back to it throughout the week, and I just never did. It was a busy week again, as you can imagine, with the impending holiday. So this is called Ice Crystal, and it's an ornament I started beading, but I only got one length of thread in. And because it was a loop start, it didn't get very far. So here I am. You can see those bugle beads, and there's some silver and white beads. And there will be one more color of bugle bead, but it's clear and it has blue thread running through it. All these other ones had white thread, so I figured I'd do them all at the same time. So it's really pretty. I don't think I'll get it done by Christmas, but I do want to keep plugging away at it. We usually have our tree up until New Year's, so hopefully I'll be able to get it done and put on the tree, even for a day. Would be nice. But at least I can get it done for next year, to be able to use next year. So that'll be fun, if I can focus on that a little bit more the next couple weeks. And then I also worked on Heirloom Nativity Sampler for most of my time. And granted, the first several days of the week were pretty sparse as far as stitching time. So I didn't get as far as I wanted to. I still have some more to do on my goal, but I think I'm torn. I do want to finish all these bands, but I have a new start waiting for me that's Christmassy, and I want to do it this week. So I'm really hoping I can have enough stitching time in the next few days to finish these bands so that I can still have time before Christmas to start my Christmas start. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll have more time than I had this past week. So here it is. This is on 32 count linen by MCG Textiles in silver, I think. 2/2 for all the cross stitches, and then the specialty stitches or whatever is called for. So I did get the Wise Man Scene finished, and that white work band also finished. Just finished that up last night. So all I have left is it mimics this up here. All the white work bands are different, so it's different lace patterns, which is fun. But there's a word strip, and then there's some like, this is a Gloriana variegated band of some kind of specialty stitch. It varies as well. You can see from these previous ones, it's a different one each time. And then there's some like green bands, which is a different things each time, and then a vine band, which is also different. So I have all of that left. The text, the variegated, the green, and the vine. So the vine is probably the most time intensive of all the three. So, but I do want to do it. So I'm just hoping I get some time in the next few days to finish that up. And then next year I'll work on the manger scene and try my hand at heart hanger for the first time and try to get this finished next year. That'll be really fun. And speaking of my Christmas start, it's Christmas Elf Fairy by Mirabilia, and this was originally a kit that came with fabric and flosses, and I received it as a pass to stash from Terry Lee Crafts and just the pattern. So I kitted it up myself and then recently this week I pulled colors and I posted on Instagram the colors that I chose, just things from my stash that I thought looked nice together and with this fabric. A few of them are called for, but most of them were not. So I actually had some of the neutrals. So I had the gray and black colors, but all the reds and greens I did not. And there was a Krynic called for the tree, and Terry sent me a little bit of the leftovers that was in there, and I'll have to wait and see if I have enough to actually do it with this. But if not, I pulled some Etoile. That might be kind of fun because I didn't have any green Krynic. I think it'd be fun to just do this from stash. And the fabric's already sparkly, so I think it would be okay if it's not quite as sparkly. There's also some beads in here, which I haven't looked at to see if I have them yet, but I'm pretty sure I'll have something close. So I'm not worried about that. So I cut the fabric down, it's ready to go. And I cut the piece for Dragon Dreams as well. And I still have some leftovers to do something else on. So that's fun. And okay, so this coming, I'm not sure what to do next. I guess I could do His Name is Jesus. I worked on that this week when I talked with Desiree, the Addicted Stitcher, and Colette, the Highway Stitcher. We all got on the call together this time, which was really fun. So this is by Joyful Expressions, and you can get this free when you sign up for their newsletter. It's charted for 3 different shades of color, and like this example is 3 shades of blue, 3 shades of pink. I'm doing 3 Victorian mottos, red, navy, and gold. On 28 count, ivory, Lugana, 1/1, full crosses. And this is where I got to. I usually get 1 length of thread in. It's 28 count, 1/1. Yeah, so 1 length of thread will do about 150 stitches, give or take. So I think I got 140 something this time. I worked on the is and started the H with my length of thread. So that's fun. I like working on that every couple weeks. And I had a new start. It was impromptu. It's for a gift. So it's not just as willy-nilly as it sounds, but it was, I had been thinking about it for a couple weeks. It had occurred to me that this would be a good idea to make something for a lady in my church who I love dearly, and I know she would appreciate cross stitch because she commissioned me to make a piece for her brother, I think, a little while back. So she knows what I do is valuable, and so I think she would appreciate this. I knew that she might like scripture themed things, and so I went through my stash, just a few charts, and I remember having received a couple different big toe designs with the hymn Amazing Grace, and there was another one that had just the main, I think it might have had just the main verse, but it was bigger and more borders and things with fewer words. This one has the text of the entire hymn and these little motifs sprinkled out. It's quite large, but I think all of the words would be more, she would love that, I think, more, to have the impact of all those words. I'm not going to stitch the border. My husband's like, you're not going to stitch that? I'm like, no, that's where dreams go to die. Yeah, no, especially since it's a gift, that would take way too long. So I'm just going to stitch the verses and the motifs. Found out she does like purple and green are some of her favorite colors, and this is already kind of charted in purple and green. So I went ahead and just pulled from my stash, again, some example similar colors to what's called for, but not really. But they go good together. And so this is Garden Gate by Victorian Motto, Stepping Stones by Weeks Dye Works, and Royalty by Color and Cotton. And she calls for like 17 skeins of the main eggplant is the one they called for, which is the words and like the cross and the border. That's 2/2 on 32 count, including the border. So this is 3 skeins of Weeks Dye Works 1/1, no border. So hopefully I'll have enough. And I decided to use some antique white Charles Craft Monaco that I had. And I got 2 links to thread in, and that's my start. Amazing Grace. This is really stiff. Stiffer than the Monaco that I buy from Rita Reen's cross stitch, the Rose Monaco and the Dove Gray Monaco, of which I have right here in another new start. This is a lot softer. So I needed these little, whatever these are called, thread peels to keep the roll, just like I do with like Kit Ada, because it unwinds whenever I let go of it, and then I have to rewind it, which is the most annoying part. And then it also helps hold it together to keep my hand from hurting while it's new. And I'm hoping it'll soften up a little bit as I go, but it should also go pretty quickly, and I'll move down and have less to hold anyways. So I have a needle minder here from No Name Needle Minders, who is currently out of business, but it had some music notes on it, so I thought that was appropriate. So yeah, there's my start. Her birthday is in June, so I have 6 months to finish this if I want to gift it to her for her birthday. So I figured there's 6 verses. If I do 1 verse and the corresponding motif every month, I will have it done in time to give to her on her birthday. So that's my goal. And I'm not sure how this is going to impact my other stitching. Hopefully not that much, but it might. But I think it's important. So I'm going to do it, and I'm really excited about it. So that's why I decided I'm not really feeling like starting rows right now, even though I got my brand new fabric. I want to focus any extra attention this probably next week after Christmas. I'll spend a good amount of time on that to kind of get that first verse done and kind of see how long it will take. So also this week, likely the Cozy Cafe Club last release will be coming out. This is by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is their 2021 Mystery Stitch Along. And we have one more release, which is slated for December 25th. But because that's Christmas, they'll probably give it out a few days early. I think the November one was also on the 25th, which is the same day as Thanksgiving here in America. And they released it like 3 days early or something. So I'm imagining in the next day or two, we'll probably get this one. So I will probably spend some time working on this one as well this week, but this could also end up pushing it out until next week, probably more likely now that I think about it. This week, I want to focus on the Christmas stuff I have. So I want to finish my goal on Heirloom Nativity Sampler, maybe even the Snowflake ornament, and that Advent Remy Rabbit. Like those 3 I think would be really fun to focus on this week. And then next week I can work on this one and the Amazing Grace to wrap up the year. So I thought I would share my starting point on the Cozy Cafe Club. This is 25 count, 1/1, full crosses. I believe this is vintage cloth in the color Prim. 1/1, full cross, I think I said, yeah. And so I'm doing DMC for most of it, but then I picked some fancy floss for the border, just for some fun. And yeah, that's where I'm starting from. You might notice no Knitting Woman. Because there was such a little amount of stitching time this week, I didn't actually get Knitting Woman out at all. And I do still want to aim to finish it in November of next year, but I didn't want to stress about it this week, and this coming week I don't think I want to stress about it either. So at least until after Christmas, I'm going to leave it put away, focus on Christmas stuff, both stitching and life Christmas stuff, and get that back out again, possibly the following week, for sure in the new year. So another thing I kitted up and got ready to go with something I will start in the new year. So the Frosted Pumpkin was my kind of monthly stitch along this year, and it is kind of fun to have one of those every year. The Victoria Sampler, the same company that did the Heirloom Nativity Sampler, they have on their Facebook group, they often have a mystery stitch along released free on their Facebook group. And this past year they had one, and at the time I was doing the Cozy Cafe Cove. I didn't want to do another one, and but as I was pulling the patterns and saving them for future use, I'm like, this is so cute. I really want to do this. So I figured, you know what? Let's just do it. I'm already doing the sampler of stitches by the Drawn Thread this coming year, but that's going to be like a weekend piece at home because it's got a bunch of specialty stitches. I'm not going to want to do that in the car. This would be a good one to be included in my travel stitching. So here's the overall. All the pieces have been released now. They're currently still free on the Facebook group, but they will be taken down on December 31st. So if you want in on this while it's still up there, go join the Facebook group and you can get these patterns in the first half are in the file section, the second half are in the featured section, because things changed how they were able to upload them, but so cute. And so I printed them all off. There's multiple parts per month, but I went ahead and printed out everything because there's some of them had specific instructions for what to do in that part, because it came out 3 or 4 parts per month. And so I'm going to try to stitch along with it in this coming year. So it won't be a mystery for me, but it will still be really fun. It's also intended to be a stitching like exercise of sorts. There are no called for colors, only these shaded in colors. So I'm gonna have to go through, I asked a question in the Facebook group and I have not yet received an answer. So I may just have to go through myself and figure out how many pinks, how many blues, how many greens, etc. And then come up with my color palette for the entire year, because I want them all to kind of coordinate. So that's my plan. And I'm excited. And I cut a piece of Dove Gray Monaco 28 count to do this on, all on one piece. And there's some 1/1 in here, so I didn't want to I wanted to keep around like 25 count, 28 count, one of those types of things, in order to be able to do the 1/1. Because like the turkeys 1/1, there's some birds 1/1, little chickens. So every once in a while there's some 1/1 stitching and specialty stitches or little lace motifs and stuff you like about the Victoria Sampler. So I thought, yes, I want to do that. So that'll be my 2021 monthly stitch along can be stitched in the car. And because it's a little bit more simple than the sampler of stitches, which I'll be doing as well. Okay, and then a couple final things regarding plans. The Magazine Monthly Challenge group on Facebook has released their acrostic and their January game. And I'm thinking I won't do the acrostic this week or this month because I like the game. And I might just stick with that. So what I'm thinking, they have a Bringo board, which is like a January bingo. Their version of this bingo is it's a typical 5x5 square board. They have given 25 prompts, and you randomly fill in your board with these prompts, and then you pick the piece that goes with that. So stitch on a new whip or a new start that will be a gift. That could be Amazing Grace. Whip or a new start with a house. That could be the Year of Starts by the Victoria Sampler, because there's some houses in here. You know, things like that. So the goal for this is she's gonna pick a number every, like the evening before the first 25 days in January. So I guess the first number will get called the night of December 31st. So you can plan for what your January start will be. So pick the number. It will be a random, not everybody will have the same prompt that day because we're randomly filling our boards with these prompts. So it's not like it's just gonna go straight across. So what I decided to do to be responsible and fun at the same time, which is what I'm always going for, is I wrote down a list of all the projects that I want to work on in January. So I have my family pieces, which the church lady's gift is now included a family piece. So I have Simpsons, Letter F Fairy, By the Window in the Morning, Dragon Ride, Knitting Woman, and Amazing Grace. I'm also including Sampler of Stitches, because that's one I'm going to be working on throughout the whole year, and Colors of the Seasons, which I'd like to start the winter quadrant of that. If January gets too busy, I may work on that in January and February, and I'm okay with that. I also have Year-End Stitches, which is the Victoria Sampler one, and Temperature Butterflies, which will be my temperature chart for next year. Suppose I could also include Hummingbird by Mill Hill, because that's one I'll be working on. And hopefully by then, Cozy Cafe Club will be done. And then I have these spots open for my Whip Go pieces. So I'm going to wait and fill out my board until I know these. And I think Jessie Marie says she calls these numbers on like the 27th. So that will happen next week. And I'll know 2 full coverages and 2 fancy ladies will be in here. So from these, that's what I'll use to populate my Bringo board in Magazine Monthly Challenge. And the goal for this, she's going to pick, I don't think I said this yet, sorry for being so scatterbrained. Every day she'll pick a number. You work on that prompted piece for 1 hour or 100 stitches is the goal. And probably what I would do is, unless it totally messes with my plan for the day, I was thinking of just making that piece my my main piece for the day. And however much I get done will be great, more than 100 stitches or an hour. I'm gonna try to count / keep track of time on the pieces to make sure I get at least an hour or 100 stitches, depending on the type of project, whether or not I feel like counting stitches. But I'm thinking I'll get more than that as well. So that's kind of the idea. So we'll see if that goes well. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. And I think that's everything I have to share. There's a lot. Kind of blew through it. So if you have questions about anything, let me know. And I'm really far behind on answering comments on my previous videos, so I'm sorry about that, but it has been busy. This past few days I haven't been able to stitch as much because I was working on that temperature pattern. So stuff and things in life. So you can all relate. I hope that you have a wonderful Christmas coming up if you celebrate Christmas, and of course, a wonderful time stitching. And in the meantime, I will, Lord willing, come back at the beginning of next week at some point. I can't guarantee it will be about the same time as usual, but hopefully Monday or Tuesday I can sneak up here and make another video. So with that, I will see you hopefully next week, and happy stitching. Bye.